Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Sippin' the Dry. Today, I'm here with Jennifer Holbrook, the founder of the Southern California Women on the Fly. How are you?
Yep. Hi there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you? It is so good to finally have you. You have been a customer of ours for quite some time now. I know we've been shipping to you and your group of gals out there in Southern California for a while. It's nice to finally talk to you.
Yeah. You guys have great customer service, so there'd be no reason not to get in touch with you guys.
Absolutely. And we reached out to you because I want to know more about your group, Southern California Women on the Fly. Well, I mean, it's breast cancer awareness. I would say it's a little bit more shine on the ladies.
For sure. And everybody needs to get their mammograms and all that kind of stuff. So
facts.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. Please tell me a little more. And the folks at home who are listening.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna back up. I founded SoCal Women on the Fly in November of 2018. So we're actually coming up on a birthday, our fourth birthday. And it really started because I went up to the California Fly Fishing Open, which is an event put on by the Southern Sierra Fly Fishers in Kernville on the Kern River. And I went up there. I was invited and hosted by a terrific angler and guide named Celine Bela. And she put in a women's team for that event. I'm not sure if it was the first women's team because I think Casting for Recovery may have also had a women's team in.
Okay.
But the goal of the team was, even though it was a competition for her club, the goal was really just to connect women because that's what Celine was passionate about, helping women get involved in fly fishing and helping them find other people who they could fish with.
Right.
So I actually do not have a dad or brother or husband or boyfriend or whatever who fly fish.
True.
And so when I went up there and was on the team and realized that there were at least 4 other women in Southern California, and of course, as part of the event, I discovered there were maybe quite a few more. I thought, gosh, I've got to connect with some women in my region to fish with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's really how she was part of our origin story, because she kind of opened my eyes that, there were a lot of other women in Southern California that were interested in fly fishing. And I came home and I started the group, and we've been connecting women anglers ever since.
Yeah. You have over 300, close to 300?
Close to 300 members. Yeah.
Let's go.
And we're growing every day. And,
that is so awesome.
We love to share pictures and events that their clubs are having and things like that from trips. So,
and you're all just working together and uplifting, because, it's easier for women to talk to other women about fly fishing. I know we spoke just a little bit about that, but.
Yeah. Well, what's fascinating was, I actually just was up at this same event this year. It was this past weekend, the California Fly Fishing Open.
Nice.
And I actually put in a team of 5 women. There was another team that had 4 women on it. We actually had 3 extra women that came along and fished with us as a big group.
Nice.
It was super fun. The one gal who she actually ended up catching the most trout in our group, and she had been to that river a couple times before and had not done nearly as well.
Really?
But she got a couple of tips from some of the other women, and she fished hard, and she caught the most fish. And she actually thanked me after, sent an email and a post saying it's so much more fun fishing with, other people in general and other women, of course, because there's hooting and hollering and we lift ourselves up and, just make it an extra fun kind of outing. So
absolutely. We're all a little different. Us in the shop, we're a little bit different than, a normal group of guys that fish. So I can completely understand the whole group things. So you go out and you take women out who have never fly fished or know very little, and you teach them, and you do it safely, and show them all the resources they need to get into it. That's kind of what the online group is.
I do that some. The focus of the SoCal Women on the Fly is mostly connecting women. We are kind of an offshoot of what was the maybe kind of original Women on the Fly group, which is United Women on the Fly.
Yes.
And that was founded by Heather Hodson, I think in 2016. And she was very interested in the education component. As a matter of fact, she's set up her admin team for that group so that she can focus on something she's calling Fly Fishing Instruct at this point. So we try to share that information whenever we can. We certainly do, we comb the web and we find videos and instructional information from other sources that we're able to share with the group. So there is an education component, both in terms of what we're able to share in person when we have people come out, but also in the group. And so it's not our focus, but I think people are learning things. And I think some of the gals that I've fished with would corroborate that. And I also, I'm very fortunate. I've been able to do a fair amount of traveling. Yeah. And
didn't you just go to
I'm
Mexico?
not originally from the West Coast. I'm actually originally from the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm spent a large part of my earlier days in Florida. So my heart really goes out to, everything that they're experiencing down there after Hurricane Ian. I want to shout out to the Captains for Clean Water, who I know are providing support and transportation for some of the folks that are without supplies on those barrier islands. But I've also been able to take a couple of people to spots on the other side of the country where they might not go.
True.
And open their eyes to other fisheries and things like that. So just in the same way my eyes were opened, to the different fisheries we have here down in Southern California. We're not just a trout fishery.
No.
We've got salt here, both inshore and offshore. We definitely have bass, crappie, bluegill. We have some great lakes here that we fish. So there's a lot of opportunities. And I'm a big advocate encouraging people to kind of fish their fishery, look for what's close to them and figure out how to fish it. So,
I mean, today we can make anything close to us, so they can hook up with you and, now that's their backyard too. So that's super cool.
Well, and if you live in Southern California and you wait until you can take trout trips, you might not get to fish as much as I like to fish anyway.
That's true. So, what do you like to fish for the most?
Yeah.
What do you like to fish for the most?
Oh, gosh. I was worried you might ask me that question.
Yeah, that's right. Put you right on the spot. I apologize.
The list is long.
Fresh
and I think
water.
It depends. Huh?
Freshwater.
Freshwater.
Yep.
It would have to be largemouth bass.
Really?
I mean, that
have
surface
you smallmouth
take.
fish or panfished before?
It would have to be largemouth bass. That's surface take and.
Oh, yeah. With a popper.
Yeah. It's just exciting stuff. They're pretty territorial and aggressive, and so boy, when you find them and you put the right thing on a fly, it's a game on.
Yes, absolutely. All right, and so you're not only do you do Southern California, you're very active in a lot of other regional fishing groups and scenes.
Mostly the other one that I'm most active in is that Southern Sierra Fly Fishers.
Southern Sierra Fly Fishers.
Because they have such great events. My San Diego Fly Fishing group or Fly Fishers also has great events. I want to be fishing. And so I love to go and just hang out with other anglers. And I actually just got back from a trip to Mexico with the San Diego Fly Fishers.
Yeah, I remember. How did that go?
About 3 weeks ago. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing trip. We targeted Dorado and roosterfish.
Oh,
and
stop it.
Just the fishery. We were down near La Ventana and the fishery down there. It's not far from Mag Bay and Punta Arenas, not Punta Arenas, I think it is. So there's just amazing fishery down there.
Yeah, holy crap, that would be so cool. Hopefully we can put some pictures up while you're talking about it to show everybody. That is so cool. Kind of what I wanted you to touch on, since you're very good at speaking, very articulate, is kind of like some of the lingering prejudices that you kind of led me on to. I wasn't really sure last time we talked a little bit. Just if you would elaborate a little bit for me and the viewers at home of things that maybe we don't quite know about, or maybe we don't normally would see.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I don't want to get on this too much because
True.
I do want to let you all know that, gosh, compared to 5 years ago and now, it's different. It's definitely getting better. I think with more women getting involved, fly shops have realized that, hey, it maybe makes sense to have, some women guides associated with our fly shop or a woman on staff.
I don't
It makes
believe we have any
sense.
women guides on staff here, so that's a good
Yeah.
thing. We're
Yeah,
gonna
there's
have
a
to
lot
change that.
more of them now, and they're just awesome people.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and it makes sense to make sure that the men in our shop feel comfortable talking to women
Yeah.
and treating them respectfully. Back in the beginning, there were times when I would go into a fly shop, and my local fly shops have always been really, really good about it
We don't need to
here in
name
San
drop
Diego
anybody.
and in the
We know who
region.
you were.
But when I would travel sometimes and go other places, it was the kind of thing where, you'd walk in and you'd open the conversation about, what they thought was biting or
Water report,
or hitting
basically.
or whatever, or just, hey, could they give some intel on a particular location that I'd researched or whatever?
Yeah.
And, they'd share some information, which was fine. I never expect anybody to give away the whole bag.
True.
But they'd share some information. But boy, let me tell you, if another group of men fly anglers came in, I was dropped. They were done
That is
talking to
crazy.
me. And this does not happen as much
Everywhere.
now. It's
True.
definitely gotten better.
Absolutely.
But that was a very kind of difficult thing to work through. How am I going to get intel and information? How am I going to learn, maybe what the best kind of rigging is for this particular fishery in this area?
Yeah.
If I can't find, people that are comfortable talking to me.
Just sounds like common courtesy to me and to people here. We don't even it's so weird. That's
Well,
not a thing.
it is, but I think a lot of people, it makes sense that people feel comfortable, like talking to but I think we all need to kind of look at each other and as humans, and we're all anglers.
Yeah, I was
right?
about to say,
We're
we're
all
all fly
anglers.
fishers. Why are we
We
all
always have that in common.
At least we're not spin fishers.
Yeah, we're not conventional anglers. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I even know a couple of those that are okay.
But
But,
listen, we can edit that out. They don't have to know. We're not going to tell people.
Yeah. And I would say the only other thing that's been a little awkward at times is, I have been assigned to a guide or two
Mhm.
that, I have no doubt they're terrific guides, but they maybe, didn't feel so comfortable knowing that they were going to have, especially if I was alone, in their boat. I've certainly been high holed, and I know that everybody gets high holed at times.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think, there's never an angler that's, potentially a high holer that's going to look at me and go, well, I can't do that because that person's going to kick my ass, where they might think that if they saw, another dude in the water.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If I saw Nate standing in the river, I'd give him a run for it.
Yeah. And so, I generally, for a long time, I would not say anything. I would just get out of the river and move on. Now, in the interest of kind of polite education, I will say, hey, that's not maybe the right thing to do, the right etiquette on the water.
And maybe they don't know, maybe it's ignorance.
It's certainly possible.
Let's hope for the best then.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would say the transition, though, of attitudes and enthusiasm and the kind of welcoming, demeanor has gotten so amazing in the last just short years, the last 2 or 3 years or so.
Good.
It's changed dramatically. And I have to, commend all the anglers out there that are welcoming women into it and see a place for us.
Absolutely.
On the fisheries.
True. All right. Enough business. Tell me about your favorite, we'll say international, because you do a lot of internationals.
I don't do a lot of international.
What is the most beautiful international fishing you've done? Was it this last Mexico trip? Because
It was
Dorado and roosterfish would probably be
hands down. The color of the water was amazing.
What were you throwing?
Light blues in the shallows where the roosters go on the attack. And then the dark blues and, the deeper waters where you get those Dorados interested in the bait fish.
Yeah. Beautiful color on those.
Just absolutely beautiful. And it's an amazing fishery. We were actually near an island that used to be called Jacques Cousteau Island. So, it's not anymore. This was not necessarily the right name for it, I guess. But a lot of great fish and just a beautiful environment, really.
Yeah, absolutely. What were you throwing? What were you using?
Mostly things that looked like sardinas.
Okay.
I had done a clouser, actually, because most people throw surface flies. But I was getting some refusals on the surface flies, and so I had tied up some clousers with some white and turquoise and a little black on the top, and that was a very popular.
Is that like a fast retrieve?
Very much so.
Okay.
And especially for the roosters. The roosters are so fast.
Oh man, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely a double-handed kind of retrieve for those fish for sure.
Wow, that's so awesome. What's your setup? What were you using, rod and reel?
I was using 12 weights. I have a loop cross, and I took 2 because I wanted to have a sinking line
you should
on
always
one.
Take 2.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
Just in case things were hitting a little lower. And I also have I had a Hardy Zane, I think. I had a Nautilus reel on one and T-bore on the other. My Florida background. Florida background. But no, I mean, it was great equipment. Yeah. I did not doubt. In some cases, the Dorado were a little smaller. I was still thrilled to have the 12 weight. Didn't get tired throwing it all day.
Yeah, wow, that's clutch then.
Launched into the wind, no problem. And, I never worried about them busting or.
No.
Yeah. Now, maybe that's because I didn't catch anything that was 50 or 60 pounds.
True. Good Lord, that's a good size fish.
But I was ready.
Good.
So.
That's awesome. Man, that's so good that you had a great time. I hope we see pictures of that soon. All right. How can people find you the easiest? What's the easiest way to get in contact with you and your groups so maybe they can figure out how to start one here or,
Yeah, well, if somebody is going to start and let's use the Women on the Fly nomenclature group, I would definitely get in touch with the United Women on the Fly and make sure that they are cool with that kind of as a brand extension, if you will.
Yeah.
But anybody's welcome to call me and find out kind of what I've done. I at this point, I think, there are so many good replicable models that are out there. There's NorCal Women on the Fly, there's Colorado Women on the Fly, and there's a whole bunch more women's groups that are main Women on the Fly that are starting up all over the country. And so the model, I started it on Facebook. A lot of people have moved off of Facebook.
On your own website or?
I'm sorry?
Onto your own website or?
No, I've actually moved on to Instagram at this point. But that doesn't mean the Facebook group isn't still engaging and people still use it. We do.
Okay.
I just had to take it a little further because, a lot of people were like, I'm not on Facebook anymore. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. So on Facebook, we have a page, which is co-ed. And that's because, we have a lot of friends of both genders that we want to keep kind of in the loop what we're doing. But when we're talking about like private events, or sometimes if women are sharing pictures and things like that, or if they have questions, sometimes they feel more comfortable asking in a women only group.
Yeah,
and so we also do have a private group that is women only. And that's where we post, for instance, if we're going on an outing, or want to invite others on an outing, we'll post it in there because, we want to make sure that we always have a safe environment for everybody.
Sure.
So that you can find me. Again, it's just SoCal Women on the Fly on Facebook.
Women on the Fly. I'm sure we'll put that at the bottom of the video.
Yeah. And then the Instagram, we love tags. Go ahead and tag SoCal Women on the Fly. We love that. But we can also be found at SoCal WOTF.
WOTF.
Yep.
On the water?
On the water, you can find me. You can find me on Barrett Lake. You can find me on San Diego Bay. You can find me on the Kern River.
Good Lord, I got to find myself in California first.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Give me one piece of advice for everyone out there before I let you go.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just to be inclusive.
Nice.
You know, we try to include everybody. We don't, if somebody wants to come and fish with us, great. I love that. If they're 65, if they're 25, if they're, even if we've had women from out of the region, as far away as New Jersey, who come over here, and Utah, who, come over here to fish.
Absolutely.
Or visit relatives and want to fish, and they fish with us. So my goal, and lots of times I do have people ask, is this, a co-ed event? Sometimes they are. So we try to be inclusive to the extent that we can be with what
Absolutely.
Our mission is.
Yeah. So be inclusive. That seems easy enough. We can all be a little bit more inclusive to everyone.
Sure. Obviously. Yes.
Absolutely.
And just be enthusiastic. That's one of the things I love about when I call you guys.
Yeah.
I actually get a human on the phone, which is awesome. And
sometimes, I don't know, Ryan, he's kind of grumpy, at least to me.
Ryan, not to people on the phone. He's getting it done on the phone. So, but the customer service that I've gotten when I call you guys, and whether it's Ryan or anybody else that I talk to there, awesome. Super knowledgeable, super encouraging. And it's just nice, to talk to a human on the phone when you have questions or...
if we don't know, we'll figure it out.
For sure. That's right. Now, I've heard that from other places before, and I never get a call back, but I always get a call back from you guys if that's the case. So.
We like to talk to people. I don't know. Well, Jennifer, it was very nice to talk to you today.
Well, I've enjoyed talking to you too, and
Absolutely.
I hope that you will get over to Southern California. We can take you fishing.
That would be crazy and beautiful, and I think we should take a shop trip. Fly rod, Southern California. Let's go.
Yep.
All right.
Put in a team next year in that Fly Fishing Open, which would be awesome. Super fun.
That would be good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave any questions that you have for Jen or me, and make a friend on the river. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.